Another major thing that people are encountering when they're looking for a new job or trying to get into a new career path is that they go through this interviewing process. First they created this resume, this great, brilliant resume, and they're just shooting it out on Workopolis and Monster and whatever it is, and Craigslist and Kijiji, wherever they find these opportunities. And what I've been hearing is that the amount of calls back is just it's a depressingly horrible amount, like this much, honestly. If they do get a call back, or maybe it's a referral, it's a friend of theirs, then they find out when they do the interview, they are competing with a whole bunch of other people who are already more experienced and have been in the field that they're trying to get into. And there's this like just crazy amount of competition. And the biggest question that people will always ask themselves is, if no one's willing to give me the experience, how am I going to get the experience? Like how am I supposed to get into this field? How am I going to get my big break in this field of expertise or this new career path? And you know what? I think that's a valid question. I was in the recruiting business for a number of years, and I met a lot of people who suffered or had a lot of stress put on themselves because of that very fact. They weren't able to get into these job opportunities. There's so many people looking for work already that if you're an employer, you can choose the best, the cream of the crop. Yeah, you don't need to just take the next person, the next person who signs up, who applies. So I guess this is what I, after being in the recruiting industry and having worked for myself and seen this world and encountered many of these instances with friends and clients and things like that, this is what I would say. The first thing that I would say you do is to invest in yourself. So if you do have money, I know it doesn't have to be expensive, or it could be completely free, but invest in yourself. Invest in self-knowledge. Know yourself. Maybe you get just a notebook and just start journaling and getting thoughts into paper. Start to discover who you are. You're gonna hear me say this over and over again, but get to know yourself. Have this conversation with yourself, because it's going to be extremely important. You have to live with yourself for the rest of your life, and 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you don't want to wake up in the morning and feel like you're living someone else's life, or you've completely missed a chance at doing something that you truly want to do. So really, maybe you make a list of, here are the 101 things that I want to do before I die, or here are the things that I like. This is what I like doing. This is what I don't enjoy doing. This is where I see myself. But ultimately, invest in yourself. Maybe you read certain books or take workshops that are focused on personal growth, personal development, and just you getting to know yourself. And the second thing I would say is network. Build relationships with as many people as you can. Be willing to connect and be willing to be the connector as well. Zig Ziglar famously said, in order to get what you want, you have to help as many people as possible get what they want. And this is a philosophy that I've definitely lived by. It's giving without expecting to receive, but just giving to give, because the world is abundant. But when you connect with people and you network and you build relationships with people, you won't realize where these conversations will lead you. You might be talking about whatever. You might be talking about the game. You might be talking about the weather. You might be talking about your interest in wine or coffee. I don't know what you're going to be talking about, but eventually it'll come to the topic of, I'm looking for work in this field, and someone's going to say, oh, I know somebody, and they're going to connect you with somebody. Or they might be talking to you about something, and be like, oh, I know somebody that might need your services, or whatever it is. But just be willing to connect and just be that, be that vessel to facilitate connections, to help people give value for and receive value for their work, for their services, for their products, and whatever it is. And I think that's really important, because every opportunity that I've been exposed to and have taken advantage of since I dropped out of university was through my network. It was because of all the connections that I had. And I can't tell you how valuable my network is. And that there's another saying that your net worth equals your net work. So it's not necessarily the bigger network that you have, but the higher quality, stronger relationships that you have, the more valuable they will be in the long run. So that's what I would say. The other thing that might be kind of a hard pill to swallow is you might be looking for a job right now and not a career. So you might be just for the sake of financial integrity, just go and chase the money, chase the dollars wherever it is. And because the job market right now is really competitive, maybe you're just doing side jobs, cash jobs, working in a family business, going on Kijiji, doing odd little things, or signing up for Kutodo. That's an app that's in Canada. It's like TaskRabbit in the U.S., but you can sign up to do things like picking up people's groceries, cutting their lawn, cleaning their house, any odd job, and most of them are going to be local. So you might be doing something like that, but yeah, you might be just looking at making money right now and not necessarily making a career move in the life path that you want. And you know what? That's temporary, because you can't be just sitting around and it's like, yes, I believe you should have standards of what you should be doing. And it will be great if you can make a move that's going to help you in the long run. But every experience is a learning experience. Every step that you make is going to be a step closer. And like Philip McKernan says, my coach says, in the absence of clarity, take action. And I think that's one of the best things that you can do, is that whatever situation you find yourself in, you need to eat, you need to pay the bills, you need to live. So do what you need to do to get through your current situation. Like, there's a reality that everyone has to face. And the last thing I would say is, do like I did, maybe. And take your hand at entrepreneurship. Maybe you consider starting a small business for yourself. Maybe you consider getting your real estate license, like I did. Maybe you consider joining network marketing. As much as there's really horrible stigma around it. I mean, I'm not involved in any network marketing, but there's a lot of skills that you can learn in terms of sales and putting yourself out there and being rejected and being vulnerable and being persistent and tracking your numbers. And I mean, there's so much that you can learn. And yeah, so learn entrepreneurship. And I guess hand in hand with that is, I guess, the best thing that you can do right now, regardless of what career path you decide to take, is learn how to sell. Get into a sales job potentially, or do something that's going to be rough, like door-to-door sales or cold calling or something like that, where it's not necessarily the sky's the limit in terms of income, but yeah, the harder you work, the more efficient you are, the more income you can make. The better you are, you can make more money in less time. And I think that's a skill that's missing right now in a lot of people, is that they don't know how to sell themselves. So first, to sell yourself, you got to know yourself, you got to love yourself, you got to accept yourself, and you got to know what you're all about, and then have the ability to sell yourself. So get into a sales type of job, or research and study sales and practice sales, and with the networking and with the with all the knowledge that you create in this, you should be moving closer and closer along this journey towards what exactly you want to be doing in terms of your career path. So I hope you take that for what it is, and I hope you get some value from it, and enjoy the journey, guys. Take care.